Shalom Chaverim. Today we're going to be learning about how to write in Hebrew. So the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet is the Aleph. And as you can see, we start off with this kind of backwards C shape and then just a line. So C, line. One more. And that is the Aleph, which makes the A sound. The next letter is the Bet. And the Bet makes the B sound. So we're going to start up here and then go like that. And then don't forget the dot. So first that and then there. So that's the B sound. That is the Bet. B. The next letter that we have is the Vet. So the Vet is basically a Bet but without the dot in the middle, and the Vet makes the V sound. So this is how we write the Vet. No dot, just a bet without the dot. And that, of course, makes the V sound. The Dalet makes the D sound and is kind of a cool loop-de-loop. So we start at the top and we just loop our way down like that. And that's the Dalet. Now it makes the D sound. That is a loop-de-loop. Dalet. The Hey makes the H sound and is basically just two kind of half arches. So you start at the top and then one below. Hey. And this, of course, makes the H sound, the H sound. The next letter that we have is the Vav, and the Vav makes the V sound. So all the Vav is, though, is it is just a line down. And the V, if there's a dot on top of it, it makes an O sound. And if there's a dot right over here, then it makes the U sound. But by itself, it makes the V sound, like our vet. So the Zayin is basically a backwards gimel. So you're not going to write it like this, but you're going to write it like this. So this is the Zayin, and this makes the Z sound. Z. That is the Zayin. The next letter is the Chet, and the Chet makes the Ch sound. So like the Hey, we're going to start at the top, but instead of doing this lower thing, we're going to connect it. So Chet. Chet. And that makes the Ch sound. The Tet makes the T sound, and you don't start at the top, but you start in the middle, and you go up like that, above the line, and that makes the T sound. Tet. The Yud makes the Y sound, and is basically the Y of Hebrew. And all it is just kind of like an apostrophe. It's just this line up here. It's the top. It's one of the easiest letters to write. That is the Yud. The next letter is the Kaf, and the Kaf is like a C with a dot in the middle. Backwards C, the dot in the middle. Kaf. The next letter is the Chaf, and the Chaf is the Kaf but without the dot in the middle. And if you see right here, this is a special Chaf which only goes at the end of a word. So if you have a Chaf at the beginning or the middle of a word, it's just this C thing without the dot because it makes the Ch sound. But if it's at the end of the word, you do it kind of like a vet, but this tail kind of goes below the line. So you do like that. And that is the Ch at the end of a word. But only when you're writing, only if it's spelled with a Kaf. And that is called the Chaf Sofi. The next letter that we have is the Lamed. And the Lamed is also kind of one of these loop-de-loop letters where you start in the middle and you loop your way up like that. Some people write it with this circle thing being larger, so you could do it like this, too. Lamed. And that makes the L sound. The next letter that we have is the M sound. It's the Mem. And as you can see, we have a Mem Sofit, which is at the end also. So the first Mem which is in the beginning or the middle of a word, is just written like this. M. However, at the end of a word, it's written kind of like this Q, sort of. So you start at the top, work your way down, like that. That is a mem sofit. The next letter we have is a nun, and the nun also gets a nun sofit. However, one's rather easy. So the normal nun is just like a J without the top. So you start at the top and go down. And the nun sofit is just a line that goes all the way down. And this only happens at the end of words. But the normal nun is that's how you normally write it. The next letter we have is the samech, and the samech makes the s sound, and all it is a circle. That's all it is, and that makes the s sound, samech. The next letter that we have is the ayin, and the ayin is kind of like an upside down fish, sort of, and it's similar to the aleph, but it has a little bit more of a guttural sound. So on the ayin, you start at the top and loop your way. You start at the right and then loop your way to the left. So, like so. Ayin. Ayin. That is the ayin. The pei makes the p sound, and how we start that is we start at the top and kind of loop inwards and then put a dot in the middle. So, pei. And you put the dot there, or you can write it like this, put the dot there. It really doesn't matter, but the dot makes it a p sound. But without the dot, you get the fe, which is over here. And the fe is basically a pei, but without the dot. That is the fe. However, when fe's are at the end of a word, you have the fe sofit right there. But this is how you write it with handwriting, like that. So you want to start in the middle, loop your way up, like that. Loop your way up and then over. One more time. Fe sofit. The tzadik makes the ts sound. So to the right we have the normal tzadik, and to the left we have the tzadik sofit, which kind of looks like the fe sofit, but has a different loop at the top. So first, the tzaddik, the normal tzaddik looks kind of like a 3. Just kind of write it like that. Always start above all the other letters because it is a bigger letter. And then the tzaddik sofit is like a lamed, but instead of doing this, or instead of doing that, like the fe, we just do it that way. So that loops to the left. And that is the tzaddik sofit, making the ts sound. The kof makes the k sound and is like a hey, but that bottom line kind of goes below the other letters, like there. So kuf, k, like that. It's like a little bit longer of a hey. The resh makes the r sound and is just like an incomplete hey. It's just a semi-arc right here over the top, like so. Very, very simple, and that makes the r sound. It's kind of like a r itself, if you think about it. But yeah, that is the resh, like that. Next letter we have is the shin, and the shin makes the sh sound. Now you can tell it kind of looks like an E with a dot on it, but we do not write it like this. We do not write it from the inside. Always write right to left. So we start at the bottom and go up, and then put the dot on the right. One more time. Dot on the right. And that makes the sh. But if you have a shin with a dot on the left, then you actually, my friend, have a sin, which makes the s sound. The sin is just like the shin, but the dot is on the left. So, like that. Sin. The final letter of the Hebrew alphabet is the tav, and the tav is like a chet, but it curves down at the bottom, kind of like this J thing right there. So let's just try writing it. It's just this first arch and then the second arch, or then the second J thing. So I'm going to start there and go down like that. Perfect. That is the tav, and that makes the t sound. tav, tav. Tav. Thank you, guys.